All right, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha, Quadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four quarters of the earth, pushing his truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return, and double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And the title of this video is going to be called Citizens, well, the name of this video that I'm going to be responding to is called Citizens of Babylon, Your Public Enemy Number One as far as Babylon's government is concerned, Eagle Eye. Now, the title of this video that I'm going to be titling here that I am currently making is going to be called The Digital Prison System is Here. The only thing that is missing is the RFID chip. And for those who are not familiar with the RFID chip is a device the size of a grain of rice designed to be injected into someone's hands or any other part of their body. And we know that the RFID chip is the MOTB, which the MOTB is an acronym, which will be according to Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, all the way down to 18. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video, which was uploaded right here by Arrows of Indignation 144, and then I'm going to continue from there. But this video right here is an example of how we are in a digital prison.
Hello. Hi, I'm Deputy Sean with the Sheriff's Office. Do you happen to have your phone on you?
I do, yeah.
Okay, if you want to hand that to me, please?
Yes.
Okay. The reason we're in contact, you got anything else on you? If you wouldn't mind just lifting up you got any weapons on you?
No.
Okay. All right. The reason we're here is, have you been on Snapchat earlier today?
Yes, I was, yeah.
So, we got a call about a snap. So, did you happen to make one today?
I did, yeah.
And what did you say in the snap?
I send a lot of snaps back and forth, I don't know. I had a lesson plan, and one of the kids turned off my computer on my lesson plan. And I was like, oh, dang. But that was, I never get mad with the kids ever.
What did you snap after that? Did you send out?
No.
Nothing at all?
No.
Yeah, I mean.
What? I'm so confused.
Okay. So what I want to show you is the snap we received.
Okay.
That is you, correct?
Oh, yes. But, okay, yes. This is a joke, though, but yes.
Who did you send that to?
That was just my, just to 3 people.
Okay.
The snap the officers are talking about included a picture of the student and a reference to shooting them, such as, should I shoot him or nah? Regardless of whether it was a joke or not, it raised concerns and police had to act.
Okay, yeah, I'm realizing that was a bad joke. That was a bad joke.
Okay, so I'm going to be honest with you. This is a serious offense, okay?
I know.
How we got it was the FBI, okay?
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, you did say student, and so you are going to go with us, okay? I do got to process you. You're going to have to stay the night in jail. Okay?
Oh my God. Oh, it's me. I'm at the school right now, and I made a stupid post on Snapchat, and it was a joke. It was fully a joke. It was so stupid. And now, somehow, the cops came and they found me, and they're taking me to jail. They're taking me to Pekin. I wish this was a joke. I really there. I don't know what. It was just such a.
I keep telling y'all, you're going to wind up getting your ass locked up for saying something that you're not supposed to be saying in these DMs on these social media apps. AI will tell on you. A teacher got pulled out of her classroom and arrested for a message that she sent on Snapchat. You heard what I just said? This teacher sent a message to her roommate, and AI felt the message was something that the FBI needed to hear, and guess what happened? Just what I said. The FBI came and locked her ass up. This teacher was teaching her class, doing a lesson. One of her students shut off her laptop while she was in the middle of the lesson, ruining her lesson plan. Of course, that probably made her mad. She texted her friend via Snapchat, and she said to her friend, "My student deleted my lesson plan for the day. Should I shoot him or not?" You can see how anybody would take that, right? Mind you, that was in privacy. That was in her messages on Snapchat. But AI read that. AI sent that directly to the FBI. And they came and handcuffed her and locked her up. And you can say she shouldn't have sent that message. And she shouldn't have sent that message. Of course, she should have known the seriousness of that. But her thinking that that's in the privacy of her chat, she sent it. She probably wouldn't even harm that student. But AI didn't think so. And she got arrested. But I'm betting you don't believe me, right? Look at this shit.
So I wanted to play both parts of the video, as you see right there. Okay, America is no longer the country that people once thought it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. This is no longer the land of the free. Not that it was ever the land of the free, because if America was the land of the free, you would never need a license just to own a car. Okay, back in the ancient world, men did not have a license in order to ride on a horse. Okay, and a matter of fact, if you found a horse out in the wild and you caught it, and you put a bridle on it and you was able to ride that horse was pretty much yours. And in case of, of course, if somebody, if you had the feeling that somebody was plotting to steal your horse or take your horse overnight while you were lodging out in a cabin or at a tavern somewhere, you would get your horse branded, whether if it was with your name on it or not. That way, if somebody else had your horse, you would show them where you had your name branded at on your horse. And if your name was found on that horse, then the person that stole your horse had to return it back to you. So, anyways, this country is not the land of the free. And we're not living in the same America that was, America 20 years ago, 40 years ago, and etc. Okay? Times have changed, and the powers that be that rule this country, that rule the world in secrecy from the shadows, telling these different governments and shadow governments what to do and how to run their country, they're moving forward with their New World Order agenda, in which they have an agenda where they intend to enslave millions of people. As we once read on their Georgia Guidestones, maintain humanity under 500 million. Well, the Georgia Guidestones are, they're not around. Well, I don't think it's there in Georgia anymore. I don't know if it's been destroyed. I don't know if somebody spray painted over it. But somewhere deep in these secret underground societies, that these Edomites have, the biblical Edomites, which will be the self-proclaimed white man, which starts with the so-called elites who call themselves Rothschilds or Rockefellers, trickling down to the rest of their nation of people. These Edomites have secret underground societies where the Georgia Guidestones could very well be erected somewhere. Underground cities that exist hundreds of feet underground that people are completely unaware of. To maybe even 1,000 feet underground, where they would have oxygen tankers down there to provide them oxygen, because the deeper you go inside the earth, the less oxygen there is, obviously, because we know that trees and plants and grass and those things are known for providing oxygen into the atmosphere. So times have changed again, and we're living in a prison planet, and America right now, even as we speak, there is a digital prison that is being erected within the United States of America. And there's millions, hundreds of millions of people living here on the soils of this country that is completely unaware as to what is happening before their eyes. And of course, they cannot see because they are asleep. Even as I speak, they are in a deep sleep, snoring loud, big ass feet out in the open. They feet stank. They got crust on the bottom of their toes. They got their blankets, wrapped over them, and they're fast asleep. Because inside their head, while they're dreaming, they're chasing after a dream that no longer exists. Okay? The American dream is dead, and it been dead. It died after 9/11 of 2001. That's when the American dream died. Okay? So, as you can clearly see right here, this woman over Snapchat, right? Which goes to show you that really there's no such thing as a private message anymore. Whether if it's over YouTube, even on your own phone, okay? And you brothers out there, be careful what you say. Let's go to the blue of our Bible. Be careful what you say in your text messages, because the Illuminati via the U.S. government can use those messages to justify coming to your home and saying you said this about the U.S. government, you said this about Donald Trump, and this woman that you see right here in the video, I'm pretty sure she's just one of many different, even thousands of different victims in America who sent messages to their friends or family via what was supposed to be a private message. And that private message got sent to the FBI, and the FBI sent that to your local police station. And then while you was at your job or while you were at home or over a friend's house, the police showed up to your place and asked you to step outside, probably asked you for your ID. They questioned you. And then they started, interrogating you with questions. Well, not as interrogation, but coming at you in an inquisitive type spirit of, the message that was sent to other people. Did you send this to such and such on this day at this particular time? And you see, one thing about AI, artificial intelligence, is that artificial intelligence never sleep. And now technology has become so advanced that these different high-ranking officials that work for the government, which are spying on us daily through the drones they fly over our heads, over the buildings that we're inside of. Even if we're walking outside, there's drones flying over our heads, spying on us. Even if you're at home, there's a drone flying over your home, recording your activities and basically spying out what you're doing in your own place. AI never sleeps. We're constantly being monitored, even if it's through the camera of your phone, through the camera of your laptop, through the camera of your TVs. And now some TVs you don't even know actually have cameras inside of them. You would think there's no camera in them, but there's cameras inside of them. There's a camera inside the TV right next to the fucking sensor that is used to pick up on the readings from your remote control when you're hitting the power button. There's a camera right there. So, even when you leave the house, when you go to your job, there's cameras everywhere. You got there's chips inside your phone, your laptops. There's chips inside of the soles of your shoe. What you gonna do? You gonna walk outside without a sole on your shoe? Your shoes will tear apart quickly. So they even put RFID tags inside the soles of your shoes. That way, every time you leave the home, they know where you're going. There's RFID tags inside your cards, your credit cards, your IDs. Everybody bring their phones with them. Even your electronic devices have RFID tags in them. The only way to not be tracked by the U.S. government, you basically have to go outside barefooted. You know what I mean? And that goes without saying, The thing is that, we're constantly being monitored by the U.S. government. So, you might be doing a video or you might be talking on your phone, and these high-ranking officials that work a part of the government that are spying on you, as they're listening to your conversation, right? Every word that you say in your phone or even on your laptop, even as I speak right now and I'm doing this video, they're listening to what I am saying. Okay. Every word you say, it pops up as caption on their screen. So like for an example, if you say Esau, right, on their screen, they're going to see the word Esau pop up in the captions. Just like how when this guy was speaking, right, you saw large letters pop up.
Hi, I'm Deputy Sean with Sheriff's Office. Do you happen to have your phone on you?
I do, yeah.
You see how she said, I do, yes. You see? So AI can do that. In real time, as you're speaking, they can have these captions show up in all capital letters, basically showing what you're saying as you're speaking. So, that's why the Holy Scriptures speak about the carnal mind. Okay? The carnal mind being enmity with Yahweh. Sorry. I knew it was not going to take me there. Hold on. Matthew, chapter 10, verse 12. Okay. So we're going to scroll back up here. Okay. We're going to scroll down here. So what I'm going to do is let's hit Control F and type in behold. Okay, then I can just exit out of this. This is Matthew 10, verse 16. Okay, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. And the biggest wolf on this planet is the self-proclaimed white man, who the Holy Scriptures call the Edomites. Okay, they are the biblical Edomites that the Holy Scriptures speak of, and he's the biggest wolf on the planet. Okay, and just real quick, let's go to Google and let's type in what are the characteristics of a wolf. Cause see, a wolf, I believe, are apex predators. Okay, they like to hunt at night. They like to hunt from a distance. They'll stalk their prey in secret. What are the characteristics of a wolf? Okay, wolves are highly intelligent. Mhm. You know, which I don't think intelligent would be the correct term to use, because the word intelligent or intelligence means demon. No, another word for demon is intelligence. But you can say that wolves are highly smart. That will be a correct term to use, right? Wolves are highly smart, social apex predators that live and hunt in tight-knit family packs. You know, and you see that with the so-called white man, you know, especially when it comes to their police force. You know, if you notice, when one police show up, you know, you might get pulled over by a police car. You see two or three more police cars show up. And right before you know it, you don't have just one or two officers standing before your car. Now you got like, you know, you got like six or eight of them. Okay. You have like six or eight of them, you know. So these different police forces, they also act as, you know, wolves, you know, traveling in packs. You know, and a matter of fact, when this woman right here, which was approached by the police, I'm pretty sure there wasn't just one officer there. It was two. Because the other one that had to been recording her had to been recording her using his or her body cam. It says typically 6 to 10 members led by an alpha pair. Key characteristics include, okay, exceptional endurance, keen senses. Now, I want you to pay attention to keen senses, because your senses are basically responsible for alerting your body when something is nearby, rather if it's danger, rather if it's you know, rather if it's danger, rather if it's you know, or you know, somebody might be cooking something in the distance, you know. They might be grilling some barbecue chicken, and your senses of smell might kick in, and you might smell somebody cooking some barbecue chicken, and the smell might lead you to a park. You know, that smell might lead you to the barbecue chicken. You know, You might be walking down a road and you might hear some music playing in the distance. That's where your senses of hearing comes in. Your senses of hearing come in, and it might lead you to a stadium where the music is coming from, and it might be a stadium, a hockey stadium. It might be the music. Your senses of hearing might lead you to a mall or whatever, And then there's the senses of feeling. You might be walking outside, and you suddenly you might start feeling water falling down on your arm or in your hair on your head. That's your senses of feeling. That's how you know it's raining. You know it's raining because you can feel the raindrops dropping down on your body. So you see, when it comes to these different high tech agencies that spy on the general people, they're known for having keen senses because they have eyes and ears in places that people think eyes and ears do not exist. Like your phone. Your phone can act as eyes and ears for these different government officials that work for the government. Okay. So you say a particular thing while you're around your phone, or you do a particular thing while you're around your phone, right? And basically you might not have recorded it on your phone or whatever, right? But maybe the government recorded it on your phone when you were completely unaware of it, right? Because here it is, you got your phone turned on, but your screen is black. Basically you put your phone to sleep. So then the next time you hit the power button, your phone turn on, you swipe it, and you're able to get on your phone again. But here it is, your phone is supposed to be asleep, but the government is recording your activity. You would think that if you turned your phone off all the way, right? Here it is, you inside your bedroom, popping your woman, and the government is listening to you smacking cheeks and shit from your phone, from your TV, from your headset that belong to your Xbox or your computer. So keen senses. And the word keen, I believe, is another word for sharp. So Esau, you see, when it comes to these different government agencies spying on the people, they have keen senses. Keen senses. Okay? So their senses have become their senses have become keen through technology, having eyes and ears basically everywhere. So know that even when you're around your phone, even when you're sitting in front of the TV, you're still in the midst of wolves. Because at any time you say or do something concerning at any time you can say something concerning the U.S. government, and right before you know it, the police might be at your door. Knock knock. You might get a knock at like 2 o'clock in the morning, while you was busy, having a conversation about Babylon being destroyed and shit. Which we know who Babylon is in the Holy Scriptures, but and then out of nowhere, like maybe 25, 30 minutes later, you got the 5-0 at your door. Sir, you were just talking about such and such, like 30, 45 minutes ago, and blah blah. We just wanted to talk to you outside, and you usually them talking to you outside will lead to you being in handcuffs or going. And so, look, just like Yahweh Shai said, right? Look, I send you in the midst of wolves. Okay, so Wolves are known for having exceptional endurance, keen senses, which is smell, hearing. Oh, look, that's the spirit. Hearing, okay? Strong pack loyalty, and the police are known for that, right? Because the police is basically your modern day KKK, you know, which is the left-handed mafia. But it says they thrive in diverse habitats, eating mainly large hoofed mammals, right? Kind of makes you wonder what blood tastes like to animals. You think the blood might taste like Frankie's hot sauce to an animal? Well, anyways, you see. Let me see. Wolves can run at speeds of 36 to 80, 36 to 38 miles per hour. You know, yeah. Imagine trying to run from the police. You're not getting away. Especially if they have helicopters up in the sky, and that's why usually during international police chases they'll have a helicopter, um, you know, basically following the person that's on the run inside of a car. Because if you have somebody from a helicopter view, you know, that's tracking a crook from the sky, then you know, they're always going to know where you're at. Even after you get out the car, you run into a particular building, they're going to know what building you went into, and they're going to basically alert police forces on the ground. Which is why, you know, it's always a dumb idea to try to get away from police while you're in a car. You know, ultimately, Esau thinks that there ain't going to be no escape for the elect, but you see, what they don't know is that the elect they're not the same as the rest of the nation of Israel. You know, see, in the last days, the Heavenly Father is going to give his elect men spiritual power to escape these coming these coming troubles that Esau's coming with. But okay, let's go back here now. Okay. So behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Now notice how Yahweh said sheep. This not only applies when you go out on the highways and hedges. Okay, this also applies, being a sheep also applies in your everyday life. Every moment you breathe, you got the mindset of a sheep, meaning sheep don't go around harming other people. They don't go around making threats to other people. They don't go around starting fights. They don't go around trying to be tough guys. None of that shit, man. You know, a sheep is a humble creature and also a submissive creature, right? So this is what Yahweh is saying. Look, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Now, Yahweh, when he walked the earth 2,000 plus years ago, okay, he came as a sheep in the midst of wolves, in which the wolves back then were primarily our people, because they were the main ones coming up against Yahweh. But you had other wolves too, man. Edomites, self-proclaimed white man. You had the other nations. So I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Okay. Be ye therefore wise as serpents. And, you know, this is one of those scriptures that came to my mind on the night of the Passover, after I kept the Passover last Wednesday, because, you know, the Passover started Wednesday sundown. You know, I kept the Passover Wednesday at sundown, and you know, I was, you know, heavy in the spirit, man. You know, I was just, you know, going through it, man. And one thing I had to tell myself in my mind was, you know, be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Because it felt like that night there was an angel talking to me, you know, asking me, what you gonna do? You know, are you know, are you gonna get carnal? Are you gonna do this? Are you gonna do that? Da 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 da. I told my, you know, my response was no. I'm going to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. Because let me tell you something about a serpent. A serpent knows when to strike. You know, see, you know, a snake is not one that just strikes right away when it knows that it's encountering a prey that is that outmatches it. You know, it's just like when you observe a serpent. Like there used to be this YouTube video on YouTube. I don't know if it's still there, but basically basically uh there were like I think it was six different mice inside of it, inside the same cage as it. And basically they did an experiment after putting the serpent in it, right? At first the serpent would try to would try to strike at the mice and catch the mice to consume it. And basically it couldn't catch a single mice. So you know what the serpent did? The serpent basically crawled into a corner and it sat there and it waited. And I would say maybe about maybe 7 minutes later, the mice started to tire themselves out to the point where they couldn't run anymore. And then what happens next? The serpent comes from out of his corner and it starts striking at the mice, catching the mice, and eating the mice one by one. You see that? So serpents are also known for adapting and learning and adapting. And there's certain things the Heavenly Father will put us through in our walks of life in this ministry where, you know, instead of just getting angry and questioning why is this happening to me? Why am I going through this? Da 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 and such, we're supposed to be learning why we're going through it and adapt to the situation, right? Well, like Bruce Lee said, be like water, You put water in a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put water into a bucket, it becomes the bucket. Okay, water can flow or it can crash. Be like water, my friend. Okay, one of my most favorite quotes by Bruce Lee. But okay, you know, water is one of those elements that's known for its calmness. Okay, being calm, like when somebody gets really heated or pissed, uh, people used to take buckets of cold water and throw it on the person, like, hey, cool off, and usually, it will cool the person off. I mean, I've seen it work several times, So water is known for its calmness, you know, while fire is known for, its raging element, and, fire puts out water, right? So, um, you know, you want to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. And, what does it mean to be harmless as a dove? Let's look at the characteristics of a dove, because being harmless as a dove also includes what you say and what you do around your phone or on your phone. Like, you get what I'm saying? It is all tied to what you say or what you do on your phone. you know. It also goes back to whatever messages you send over your phone, you know. You got to be wise as a serpent. You got to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. A dove is a harmful bird. And here it is in that very same verse, right? Yahweh Shai listed two harmless creatures, a sheep and a dove. What are the characteristics of a dove? Okay, let's see if anything comes up about a dove, you know, attacking other birds or starting trouble or being offensive. And the Holy Scriptures also say, if it all be possible, live peaceably with all men. But let's check this out. Okay, doves are a small to medium sized birds and the Columbidae family, characterized by their plump bodies, small heads, short necks, and rapid whistling flight. Okay, they are known for their soft, muted plumage, typically brown, tan, or white, gentle cooing calls, and seed-eating diet. They are highly sociable. They are highly social, but can be competitive for food. Okay, so physical appearance, it's just let's observe their behavior. Okay, these are the behavior patterns of a dove. Okay, doves are generally quiet and peaceful. Now, the Holy Scriptures speak about quietly waiting for the salvation. Let's get there real quick. Let's go to Google. Okay, KJV. Let's type in quietly wait for the salvation. So that's Lamentations. So look, this is what it means to be a dove, right? Outside of going to camp, you don't need to be, causing trouble or, hanging around troublemakers. You don't need to be hanging around people that smoke weed and, you know, are known for getting into fights and being quarrelsome all the time. You don't need to be around people like that, When Yahweh Shai said, be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove, it literally means just that, man. You want to be around other brothers in the faith that are like-minded, just like assuming that you are a true believer in Yahweh Shai. Okay, Lamentations 3 verse 26. It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord. So there you go. Doves are known for being quiet and peaceful creatures. So the behavior of a dove, right? Doves are generally quiet and peaceful, but can be aggressive when feeding or protecting their nests. And that's usually on defense, right? Not to say that, just walk around and be a punching bag. If somebody's going around, getting aggressive with you, getting all up in your face, it seems like they're going to hit you, then yeah, by all means, you got every right to defend yourself. And yeah, doves might be peaceful creatures, but even they can come in the spirit of, like, Tupac. And, like that saying that Tupac said, I ain't no killer, but don't push me. Revenge is like the sweetest thing next to getting pussy, you see? So the doves are not killers, but that does not mean, push them. Because you push a dove to the edge and yeah, don't be surprised if it reacts and you get pecked on your arm or something and now you're bleeding, because it reacted out of self-defense. So you see, doves can be aggressive when feeding or protecting their nests. And these are all defensive traits. They're not out there hunting other creatures or looking for trouble. You know, they're not out there hunting or looking for trouble. Okay, so that's pretty much the point. That's pretty much the point. It says they often forage on the ground, consuming seeds and grains. So there you go. So you won't hear anything about a dove going around, picking fights with other creatures. The only time they get aggressive is when you're invading their territory or when it comes to feeding, like, they have to eat in order to survive. So you want to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. And this also includes when you're on your phone, chatting it up with other brothers, etc., etc. So you see this woman right here, which, she was a fool, obviously, because she don't know what's going on. She even looked like she don't know what the hell's going on. And that's why when the police showed up to where she was at, it caught her off guard because in the back of her mind, well, I'm in a private chat on TikTok and I can pretty much just say whatever I want to say and I'm not going to get in trouble for it and da 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 da. And, well, little did she know, okay, the wolf was listening in on her conversation. The FBI caught wind of it and sent it to her local police, and then she went to jail. Now, if she's still in jail or not, we don't know. But this only goes to show you, you got to be careful with what you do and say, man, because we're living in a time where the digital prison is being erected before everybody's eyes, and they do not see it. They wake up and they think everything is okay. Everything is cool because you can get on your phone, you can log on to YouTube, you can get on Instagram, you can get on TikTok, and basically watch these videos. You can get on Snapchat. You can send messages and think that your messages are not being monitored, they're not being watched, but they are. Because what people don't know is that a digital prison is being erected, and they don't see it because their eyes are closed and they are asleep. With that, I'm gonna say shalom. Is on to the next one.